Hey,
All righty.
no, I didn't let you in. I left you in the truck.
Gentlemen, everything you say can will be used against you in the next election.
Punctuality.
All righty. I'd like to call us to order tonight. Welcome to the November meeting of the Lawrence City Council. So if you will, please stand for the invocation, which will be led tonight by Councilor Johnny Bolt, and I'll lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Let us pray. Dear Lord, I do want to thank you for the opportunity as we gather here tonight to discuss our city business. And Lord, I want to thank you as we approach our Thanksgiving season here, that we can just ask ourselves the many things that we have to be thankful for. And that is the privilege to serve you in our town and our community council members. We want to thank you especially for our mayor as he continues to lead us and guide us in the direction in which we need to go. And thank you for each one of the council members who work with him so patiently and so concerned and to help us all make the right decisions. And dear Lord, we want to pray for the ones who have gathered here tonight to be with us. And we just ask that you guide us as we go through this meeting. We want to pray for our servicemen, Lord, and our veterans that we just had service for last week. Thank you for their service and their contribution. For those who have gone on and left us, and for the veterans that are still with us, we just want to thank you for their service. Now go with us into the further part of this meeting. Watch over and keep us, and we ask that you forgive us where we fail in the stage of our life. For us, Christ, and we pray. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, everyone. Please be seated. The first item up on our agenda tonight is the public participation and hearing segment. And so we'd like to welcome Mr. Stanley Yergin to address council. If you will step up to the podium, sir.
One of the first things that kind of been on for a while about homeless shelter. I see a number of homeless people going during the day and also kind of during the night. That was one of the things that I was going to ask a question about. Is that currently any type of homeless shelter in place for homeless victims? Because probably if not, then that might increase the risk of breaking those blocks. Because we know that at any road, that's something that has to deal with the homeless sector. And I was just wondering if that's something that we discussed as long as that with that. I think it's pretty cold. I know it's pretty cold the other night. So it's kind of, a teaching difficult situation. You really can't really take people into your place and we want that an office. Maybe stuff that I can bring. And the other thing I was going to discuss is I know my struggle in Jersey Street, pretty busy street. There are a lot of children there, and I was wondering. I see a need for speed bumps because I think most children they look for drivers to watch out for them, but when many of the drivers are about the same age as them, it creates a problem. But it's pretty dangerous too. So I want to ask that question about speed bumps, because we're in the sector of school as well. So we have a lot of kids who live in the neighborhood who walk to school because they're too close to ride the bus. So I
Thank you, Mr. Irving. I'll be happy to address some of those questions, if you don't mind sort of holding tight till I get to my portion of the meeting. That was the only member of the public who signed up to speak, so we'll move on to the next item to the agenda, which is a report from our Parks and Recreation Director, Mr. Jason Christian. Jason.
Thank you, Mayor. Always enjoy.
If it's not, please do.
Now, all right. It's always a joy to come in and kind of let you at council know where we're at right now, and we're in full steam with a lot going on. Actually, just wrapped up another fall baseball season, and as of today, our fields are being overseeded and prepared and winterized and getting ready for next season, which will be right around the corner, believe it or not. As we speak right now, our all-star football is taking place. The kickoff is tonight at 6 o'clock at the high school. Our 8U team plays at 6. Our 10U team plays at 7:30. And as soon as I get done here, we'll be heading out there to cheer on and support our local youth playing, hopefully, win a state championship, bring it back home to Lawrence. Well, we had a great football season. It was a great season. We play other towns, Abbeville, Greenwood, Saluda, other places like that. So it was a great season, and really got some good talent coming through. Our basketball registrations are underway right now. We end those next week. And again, our numbers seem to be growing in basketball, and with still another week to go, it's a good turnout so far. Again, for like the third year, our girls program is growing. We've had a lot of call for young ladies to play basketball, so we created a few years back all girls league, and that's very popular with our community. A couple of outdoor events we got coming up soon. December 3rd is the night of the tree lighting. We will be providing a movie out on the square. And as you could tell, if you noticed on the square, we took the stage down. So we'll be putting up a rather large movie screen, and it's going to be really nice. It'll be located in front of the courthouse, and the community can sit out into the inner part of the square and enjoy a Christmas movie with all the other festivities we have going on. And then on December 17th, which is a Friday night, we're also going to be showing another movie. We're trying to be selective. We're discussing what movies we want to show. The one on the 3rd will be a short movie, something along the lines of the classic Rudolph that we all used to watch. And then on the 17th, it'll be a more, feature Christmas movie. So looking forward to that. And, the Ridge is getting calls every day about using it for rentals and things like that. Christmas is a very popular time. A lot of parties going on, not only for some of our own departments, but for people from around the community. So overall, great report to give you right now. And I hope what you're hearing from your community is the same thing we're hearing. But we feel like everything's in a good place, and we look forward to a great 2022. If you have any questions for me, I'd be glad to answer them. And if not, we're going to head on out to the high school and watch our little guys play some football.
Jason, I do have just one question. We talked about youth sports and some of our family programming for the whole community coming up. Can you tell us a little about what sort of program we have going on for our senior citizens?
Right. As you know, I've reported several times, we had a seniors program going on every Tuesday. When COVID hit, that, of course, went away for a little while. We are actively trying to get that going back. As you know, it was volunteer-led. We helped fund the program, and then we had a volunteer who headed that up for us. And we have tried to get in touch with her for a couple of weeks. I don't know if her phone's out of service or anything, but Miss Gwen did a fantastic job. And as soon as we get her, we'll give her a few weeks to get back in touch with her. If she'll call us back, we'll get back with her. If not, we're going to look for a new volunteer coordinator to head up our seniors program, because it was a very popular program and growing. And I think we got up to 35, sometimes 40 seniors coming into the Ridge on Tuesdays. Another thing that I've mentioned before, but we don't talk about enough, is we have a nice pickleball group that comes into the Ridge twice a week. And if you're not familiar with pickleball, it's a mix between table tennis and tennis. It's kind of right in the middle, and really, it's senior citizens all the way play it. And a nice group come in twice a week, sometimes 3 times a week if the weather permits. If it's rainy or anything like that, they'll come inside. But those are 2 activities right now that we're trying to get our seniors involved with. And it's been, good so far. But like I said, we want to get our Tuesday mornings back going because I know I think Miss Miller and Miss Lattimore had came a few times to our seniors more. Tuesday morning out is what we call it. So hopefully we'll get that going here soon.
Yeah, I'm glad to now because I had two ladies, well actually 3 ladies that asked me this Friday, when are we going to start our
Yeah.
senior side? And I said I would get with this CBDC this soon we will. And however, one of them is very much interested in volunteer to be the coordinator.
But if she'll come out and talk to me, and like I said, I'm gonna give Miss Gwen a little bit more time to get back in touch with us. But if we can't get her, we're definitely gonna move on and get it back going because that's something we want to have going.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Judge.
All right, thank y'all.
I know it's important. We try to can't be everything to everybody all the time, but we do make a conscious effort to make sure that our Parks and Rec program isn't just for little kids, that there's a little something for everybody. So, all righty. We didn't have any city councilors sign up to make any specific reports. Before I move on to my reports, is there sort of briefly any announcements for any programs or anything that?
I just want to announce that we are at our last community meeting. We did meet. It was very successful, and they selected November the 20th, which is Saturday, as their next meeting day. And Miss Lattimore and I've been talking, and we're supposed to be getting with the mayor after this meeting because there's some things that they had asked for and things that they want to see done to be presented at the meeting on Saturday. And so I only put it on the radio, but I do have on the Facebook and whatnot. As the meeting's going to be Saturday morning, those that were there have called me, most of them have, to see if the meeting is still on. So the meeting is still on and will be Saturday morning at 9 o'clock at Springfield. Any follow-up information about redistricting?
I don't have any specific report on redistricting. At the local level, I have been in contact with contacts in Columbia to see what the status is with the House Judiciary Committee in terms of where our House and Senate seat districts will lie. Of course, that process isn't completed yet, but assuming the draft plans that we have now remain somewhat close to what they are, the city of Lawrence will keep its own House member, and that's important. I mean, we want to make sure that the city of Lawrence has a voice in Columbia, and so that seems to be a move in the right direction.
Man, have you received the report, the numbers for the census for South Carolina?
We have.
In
We have, and there's sort of an initial report concerning what possible redistricting lines for the city of Lawrence could look like. But I suppose the next step for that would be that we should probably schedule a workshop so that we can work together to work that out. There's no sort of golden hard fast rule of what it looks like. We have legal guidelines that we have to stay within, and we have population figures that have to be reflected, but we can't draw lines for any improper purpose, nor would we want to, frankly. But it would be a good thing for us collectively as a council to work together to get that done. So I'll be happy to get with our clerk and city administrator to get that workshop scheduled. I appreciate the question. Let me try to address a couple issues that have been raised before I get into my particular report items, and we'll do it in reverse order, starting with the matter that Ms. Miller raised. At our last community meeting that I attended, one of the things we discussed was the need for a community cleanup, and so the community should expect and see materials forthcoming for a community-wide cleanup, a city-wide cleanup, every street, every neighborhood across the city on November 27th. That's 2 weeks from this weekend. 2 weeks from now, I should say. So we're working together on our end to get together materials with Palmetto Pride, bags, vests, all those sorts of things. But we really encourage the public to make plans to get together with church groups, Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, bridge clubs, whoever wants to get together and try to make a difference in the community. We strongly encourage you to make plans to do that on the 27th. I trust that all our city council members will be out there picking up trash. And some other items that were discussed at that community meeting don't really specifically address city programs or help, but there's a lot of folks that need repairs done to their homes or need assistance buying a home, that sort of thing, and they just don't know where to go. And if you don't have access to the internet, it can be sort of a maze. Even if you do have access to the internet, it can be a maze to try to find your way through those federal relief and help programs. So what I have been working with my staff to do is to come up with sort of a 1 or 2 page summary. We have an intern from PC this semester named Wyatt, and Wyatt's been working on compiling all these programs and giving sort of a snapshot of what they do, how to get in touch with them, what the requirements are, and we want to have that available at City Hall so that if you need that kind of help, there's a centralized spot where you can go to and you know what is available under the law to folks out there. So those materials are being produced as we speak, and I imagine we'll be able to have them ready to go by the 20th. Speaking of December 17th, Jason raised the fact that we're going to be doing a movie on the 17th. Just this afternoon, I've gotten confirmation that we have a brass band that's going to be able to come out and play some Christmas carols. So not only can you show up for a movie, but we'll be able to enjoy the season in a good old-fashioned carol singing. Hopefully the whole community will do that. Mr. Yergin, some of the points you raised are really near and dear to my heart. The issue of a homeless shelter is difficult. So much like what I was saying about the resources that can be difficult for folks to find that need help with their homes, if you're a person in need, it's difficult to know who to track down if you need a place to stay. So we have organizations like Family Promise, which helps families, and that is, um, my understanding is their office is in Jim Bryan's old law office right next to First Baptist Church. Y'all can correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah. So Family Promise does just what it sounds like. It helps families who are in need. You have a shelter in the city of Clinton, and frequently our municipalities work together. So if somebody needs a place to stay for the night, they can find a spot there. Again, that's a great place if you are a single individual, so not a family. Where we run into trouble is if you are a single individual, but maybe you have an issue with drugs or alcohol, or you've been there in the past and caused a commotion. They have, understandably, a pretty strict policy that protects the safety of the people that go there. And so if you are not welcome back, where do you go? Another thing that we discussed at the meeting that Ms. Miller and Ms. Loudermore invited me to was the need to address some of these issues on a comprehensive basis, and to see what we could do by way of a redevelopment commission that would look at neighborhoods within the city of Lawrence. And we as a council could, this is a matter that we would debate and determine whether or not we want to pass this, but an option available to us is that we can pass an ordinance which would create a redevelopment commission, which would establish this group of individuals who would define the area, define the needs, infrastructure-wise, housing, homeless relief, recreation, pedestrian access, public transportation, all these things that would be part of sort of our perfect world of what could be done to fix some of our challenges or address some of our challenges. And then with that comprehensive plan, see what funds are available to us, either through the state or federal government, to be able to make some of those changes. So that may seem like an unsatisfactory answer, because we can't just snap our fingers and have that sort of system in place. But I'm a firm believer that if we're going to address some of these issues, it makes sense to do it with the right people sitting around the table coming up with the plan, and that the plan is done in such a way that we're not stepping on our own toes because we've only done it in a piecemeal way. So it's probably a tough lift for us to do that before the end of the year. I don't think that's realistic. But in the new year, I would like to introduce a proposed ordinance to City Council, looking at the issue of a redevelopment commission. And we can talk offline if y'all have any questions about sort of what that entails. As far as speed bumps, I'm not going to kick the can on this one. It is an issue that it's not one of our roads, so we don't have the ability to just put them in. But we'll see what we can do to get DOT to address that. With that said, that kind of traffic control is exactly the kind of thing that you would address in that kind of comprehensive plan. That's one piece of the puzzle. The way I explained it to the group that was meeting is we don't want to just put in a new sidewalk or pave a road and have the nicest, newest paved road in a neighborhood that is otherwise struggling. It doesn't make any sense to do that. In essence, it becomes a waste of money. If we're going to do it, let's do it right. And I can't think of a time where we have a better chance of getting funding to do that from a source other than the City of Lawrence taxpayer. Now, I hope that addressed the issues for everybody that raised them. This is our last meeting before Thanksgiving, and I sent a letter to the editor of the Advertiser this week. I hope they're gracious enough to print it tomorrow. But I want us to be very mindful about the blessings of this year. And now I think is a good time to just sort of pause for a moment and think about those things. If you look at where we started at the beginning of the year, where we were getting calls from hospital officials desperately asking for help, for us to step up as leaders and encourage the community to look out for each other, because our hospital beds were full and our nurses and doctors were at their wits' end and exhausted. I looked at our reported numbers today, and I think the number of COVID cases reported today is 6 in Lawrence County. God be praised. As a result of the widespread availability of vaccines, and in part facilitated by our use of the Ridge as a vaccination center, there are now thousands of Lawrence County residents that will not suffer the worst effects of the virus that would have otherwise. I think we can safely say lives were saved. God be praised. So we have much to be thankful for in terms of our healthcare situation improving from where it was last year. But beyond that, the economic growth that we have seen in 2021, even despite a pandemic, is astounding. It is generational. There are buildings under renovation now that have been vacant for decades. And I think while the pace of the good news around here has been so steady, it could be easy to get used to, and we might think that that's just the way it was going to be. Of course, perhaps it's always been this good. It hasn't. The kind of blessing that we have seen through economic development during the past year is absolutely incredible. And I feel like I would be remiss if I didn't encourage us to take a moment and give credit where credit's due. Because the pieces that have fallen in place for some of these things to happen are beyond human control. We are truly blessed. Among the pieces that have fallen in place are the partnerships that we've created throughout the past year and grown throughout the past year. Most notably, our partnership with the Capitol Theater and with Presbyterian College through the Capitol Theater, and what that means for the future of our town. That was compounded today with the news that has been picked up by several media outlets already that Lawrence will soon see a new steakhouse on the square. Thanks to the efforts of this city government, thanks to the efforts of the renovator, the Holmes family of the Swaffer building, and thanks to a hometown boy named Caleb Satterfield, who sees the future of Lawrence, we now look forward to something that I think all of us can attest to the fact that everybody's been wanting for quite some time. So let me say in a very clear, loud voice, you can stop asking about getting a steakhouse now.
It's coming.
It's on the way. In all seriousness, we are blessed beyond measure, and I hope members of the public listening, here in attendance, and all of us, as you have dinner with your families, because hopefully this year we can have dinner with our families. We'll go home and remind them that this hasn't been a normal year. It has been an extraordinarily blessed year. And 2022 is looking pretty bright too. So, two other quick notes just to keep you abreast. We've had a significant number of meetings between Jason and Gary and myself to come up with plans for our new splash pad. We're very close to picking a team that will actually construct that for us. My goal is to have a plan finalized, if not by the end of the month, by some point in December. And they will have between January and Memorial Day. Memorial Day is our target date to have little kids splash around in the water. So that's exciting. Likewise, council met recently for a budget, well, not a budget workshop, but a workshop to discuss the use of the city's ARP funds. And we seem to all clearly see the need to expand our facilities on the West Lawrence Street facility, police department facility. And so we've been meeting with architects this week, and we'll be submitting requests for qualifications, and those requests for qualifications will go to both architects and contractors so that we pick the right team that will improve those facilities. But hopefully we bring that 1972 building up to date in a way that meets the modern needs of our police department and municipal court, and does so without 1 red cent of Lauren's taxpayer dollars. Praise the Lord indeed. So I know that was sort of a long report, but there really is a whole heck of a lot going on right now. But I appreciate the support and encouragement of each and every one of you as we tackle these tasks. But we're doing once in a generation stuff, maybe once in 2 generations stuff. So we want to make sure we do it right. All right. Now, moving on to the next item on the agenda. We have the council agenda. Do I hear a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Make a motion we approve the consent agenda.
Second motion.
We have a motion from Councilor Lowry and a second from Councilor Miller. Is there any discussion? All those in favor of approving the consent agenda as printed, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no. And the consent agenda is approved. We have no old business, so we move on to our final matter for the night, which is new business of our city business license. Many of you know, I know all of council knows, but for the sake of the public, folks here gathered, the legislature passed a South Carolina Business License Standardization Act in 2020, which standardized the way business licenses are collected across the state of South Carolina. I do want to give special recognition to the members of our legislative delegation who defeated the most heinous version of that, which would have cost the city a lot. I'm trying to remember the figure, but it was a lot. I want to say it's like a fifth of our budget. Yeah, 20% of a $7.4 million budget is significant. Thankfully, that died, and what resulted was a Business License Standardization Act that made the process uniform, as fair to businesses, so that they weren't having to wander through this Byzantine system of different systems in different cities. But it also requires us to bring our business license ordinance in line with the state ordinance. So this ordinance that you see here is largely based on the model act that was prepared for municipalities across the state through the Municipal Association. That is the purpose of this. That is the effect of this, simply to bring us in line with the requirements of state law. Do I hear any motions concerning?
So moved that we accept ordinance 11/21/01.
Thank you, Council Miller and Council Bolt. We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Who wants to talk about business license standardization? Gary, would you like to address what you mentioned to me prior to our meeting?
The Municipal Association has come up with a spreadsheet, so to say, to make sure. Part of the law is you cannot make a windfall by upgrading your business license. So they are checking to make sure that our rates are in order, that we don't make any more money or any less money. And he hadn't got the final figures to us, but it looks like our rates will be coming down.
So, did you hear that, everyone? In a week where we've been working on splash pad and a steakhouse, and we're lowering business license fees, just sort of want to drop the mic and turn off the lights. Yes, ma'am.
No, I just wanted to say, because I'm very excited about things that's happening in the city of Lawrence, especially the partnership with Pickleball College and the school system and District 55. And that Veterans Day program, y'all missed it, you missed the truth, it was very good. So there are some good things that's actually happening in the city of Lawrence that I would like to see more council members involved in as possible, and the public as a whole, because great things happening, great things about to happen. So let's continue to pray and work together, and I'm thankful to you, Nancy, and the council members for all the support that you give. On that note, I just got something to say. I make a motion that we adjourn.
Well, let's actually take a vote on the business license. Is there any more discussion about the standardization? I don't think so. All right, so hearing none, all those in favor of passage on first reading of Ordinance 11-21-01, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no. Measure passes unanimously. We'll do it again next month so we can get done before the deadline.
What about next month? We will have a usual dinner meeting, or are we going? Yeah, we're gonna have lunch meeting.
We're gonna have a lunch meeting and Councilor Campbell's gonna pay for all our lunches.
Where we're meeting.
She'll announce the date. Yes, I will.
We're gonna have some Carl Budding ham sandwiches.
Vienna sausages.
Vienna sausages.
How about that?
Okay, so we'll have our normal meeting here. 12.
I don't think so. Are we having Christmas parade?
We are.
Are we all? Okay.
What kind of monster would cancel a Christmas parade?
Maybe wants to get reelected. He wants to go to Christmas parade.
We are having a Christmas parade. It is December 4th. So on the night of the 3rd, we'll have the tree lighting. On the 4th, we'll have Christmas parade. Wonderful.
Unless there's a miracle in Clemson football, I will be this year.
You be there this year?
Yeah, I've skipped in the past.
Right,
I go up to Charlotte.
Counselor,
That's going to take a miracle.
I have very serious doubts about our chances of a national championship this year.
No. ACC championship. We're just hoping for that.
I know.
I have serious doubts.
Well, I'm happy we got
Miracle
Cam
has
back for the campus.
All right. Everybody's in a good mood. Let's adjourn.
I want to say one more thing. Let us remember tell our former mayor, the family that's in bereavement. He lost his mother, and let's continue to keep him in our prayers. He was our former mayor.
I've grown to appreciate him. He's been a good support. I suppose there's a sort of fraternity among mayors.
He'll tell you his opinion.
He does, but he's been great. So I appreciate that. Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
Move to adjourn.
Second.
All right. All those in favor? All right. We are adjourned. Thank you.
You'll try to make it Alicia. Oh, I'm sorry. Man.